This is the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Ever wish you could re-listen to your favorite interview or segment? Do you enjoy hearing older shows for the first time in years? Then the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less is just what you need. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
Hello, John Solberg here, your host for the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less. Couldn't be more pleased to tell you that today's show is being brought to you by The Butcher Shop, purveyors of highly sought-after 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets that are always, and I mean always, handpicked just for you. The Butcher Shop has been retailing the finest meats for more than 15 years. Every week, they're shipping out competition-quality meats to many of the biggest teams in the competition scene across the nation. Simply put, teams who use The Butcher Shop win, and they win often. Even if you're not a competitor, you deserve the finer cuts. Great news, The Butcher Shop can get you some of the finest prime, dry-aged Australian Wagyu and Japanese Wagyu steaks to people just like you and me who aspire to be the kings and queens of the cul-de-sac. The Butcher Shop always has Berkshire, Compart Duroc, Allegiance Duroc, and Prairie Fresh all-natural pork in stock. And again, it's always hand-picked just for you. You might be saying, John, that sounds great, but I'd like to try something different. Hey, rest easy knowing the Butcher Shop can get you some exotic stuff. Maybe some elk steak, maybe a camel roast, maybe they got alligator. I don't even know. You're going to have to call them and find out what they can get you, and I'll tell you how to do that in just a moment. Before that, let's review. The best competition briskets, check. The best pork selection, check. Giving you better overall options to cook at home, check. So you give the Butcher Shop a call today, 850-458-8782. 850-458-8782. Mention the BBQ Central Show. You're getting 10% off your order each and every time you call. The Butcher Shop. Oh, don't forget, you can also check them out on Facebook. Facebook.com/The Butcher Shop. Shop is spelled S-H-O-P-P-E. The Butcher Shop, home of the 100% Australian non-crossbred Wyvara 9 Plus briskets. I'm going to jump right into this and let Greg make the introduction.
My last guest just added Sam's Club National Barbecue Series overall champ to the slew of awards that the team has already garnered for their illustrious career this past weekend. Here to talk about the win and where it ranks amongst the other big ones is the pitmaster of Iowa Smoky D's, Darren Ward. Darren, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
I appreciate you gutting out the late night with me this evening, and I won't keep you too long, I promise. So, 6 years of Sam's Club, 6 consecutive national final appearances, and I think for most folks, as long as you and Sherry were doing the Sam series, it probably wasn't a matter of if, it was going to be a matter of when, and it turns out it was this past weekend. The final score, incredible, almost a 7-12, about 8 points better than Justin McGlaughlin. So, pretty dominant as far as scoring goes. Are you surprised to see scores kind of tip that high? And just for perspective, Sterling Ball, who finished in 6th place, would have won every other contest this weekend, holding 2 aside. I mean, that's pretty exceptional scoring, right?
Yeah, it is. When you look at that, in the past, that Sam's Club, they only allow master judges into it. A lot of master judges are judges that have been around for a long time. So, they're kind of working off the old scoring system where they're working off of 9s and come down. So it doesn't really surprise me that the number gets up to 700. It kind of shocks me that we, pulled out a 711 a little bit. I mean, we had a good cook. We had our normal cook. We were happy with everything that went in. But, it's just kind of crazy talk.
You've said, Darren, on the show any number of times that, you guys really enjoy the social part of the competition. Are you able to contradict me at all tonight and say that, on that drive down to Bentonville, you and Sherry were, pressing a little bit and kind of grinding the knuckles and egg timing it a little bit, or was it just kind of business as usual, as always?
Oh, no. We actually went down on Wednesday so that we could kind of get the social effect out of our system on Wednesday and actually Thursday. I mean, I was tired. I was working on about 5 hours of sleep on Wednesday night and, Thursday night. So it was kind of crazy, but, we got that out of the way. And Friday it was down to business, and it was just a normal cook. But, I got to tell you, winning's fun and everything, but it's really about that journey. We had so much fun, whether we were sitting at the bar with the rest of the teams or whether we were out to the Montanay Inn with, 73 other team members out there eating fried chicken. It was great. We had just a great time.
Darren, for the folks that aren't familiar, can you kind of refresh us on your path to Bentonville this season?
We started out in Fort Collins, Colorado in a snowstorm in April. We were lucky enough to win grand champion there. Then we moved on to the Las Vegas Regional, took third overall. I think Sterling won that contest. So the one thing that's fun about the Sam's Club is we have yet to cook the same local twice. We've ended up in Vegas in the regional twice, but every single year we've started out in a different place, just a different journey.
And that's obviously all done on purpose. Is that something that as the schedule goes out for the 2017 season, which has been guaranteed for next year, that you'll look to do a different local again just to keep it fun and exciting?
Yeah, we will. I mean, if it matches up. I mean, this year really came down to because I hate to cook in a Sam's Club local if it conflicts with an existing contest that we have a lot of fun at. I hate to take away from an existing contest, and all of a sudden we found ourselves in Fort Collins, Colorado in April. But we'll take a look at that schedule. We'd really love to get out into the East Coast next year, get out into the Northeast. We've been saying that for 2 or 3 years. We just have yet to get that done.
Darren Worth joining me here on the show, Iowa Smoky D's pitmaster. So when we look at the results, Darren, perfect 180 in chicken. You got fourth in ribs. You're tied for first pork. Tied seventh in brisket. Actually, when you look at the scores, have you ever been involved in a competition where you tied in each category with at least one other team?
I'm not sure in all 4 categories, but I mean, usually we lose tiebreakers. That's our deal. We kind of laugh about it. It just so happens when you lose tiebreakers at the Sam's Club National Championship, I mean, those are $1,000 tiebreakers. Normally they're $50 ones. So it's kind of crazy that way. I really didn't even know that I had tied in pork actually till this morning. I kind of pulled up. I was doing a little press release thing, and I looked up and just happened to see where I finished. I went, oh, wow, I tied Jeff in pork. That was kind of cool.
From a holistic sense on those meat categories, obviously the 180 is as good as you're going to get. Did you feel every other one was kind of where it was slotted, where the judges were thinking, or did you think you were better than worse than what you ended up getting?
Well, I mean, we knew the chicken was good. The chicken and the brisket have just been phenomenal all year. The brisket doesn't seem to hit, hasn't been hitting near as hard as it has in years past. But, the ribs have been pretty consistent. We've been hanging around that 4th and 5th place, which is fine by me. The big wild card to us has been pork all year. We've got 10 reserve grand champions. You give us a top 10 in pork in every contest, and we win 6 more contests. So the pork's been kind of killing us. And I think Emily's listening, too, from Smithfield. And we switched over to the Smithfield product earlier this year, and we did really well with it. And then we kind of went into a lull on the pork, so we kind of started switching things around, and all the things that I preached to other teams I was not to do, I was kind of doing myself. And I told Emily last week, I said, you know what's going to happen is I can't crack an egg in pork, but what's going to happen is I'm going to get to one of these nationals, whether it's the Sam's, the Royal, the Jack, King of the Smoker, and you watch, I'll get first place in pork.
Boom, you did it.
What happened to us? Yeah, boom. And so what happened to us, we're sitting there Friday morning, and I've going in with a plan about what I'm going to do with pork because I've cooked so many different recipes. And finally, I just sitting around with Sterling and Jeff Staney and stuff, and it just came to me that, you know what, you just need to go back to what you used to do. And I didn't even have the ingredients, so I'm stealing ingredients out of Sterling's trailer. I'm over at Jeff Staney's trailer stealing ingredients from him to put together my past pork recipe that I had used, really Sterling's recipe, and and put it all together, and boom, we hit in pork. But, one of the things that I did really focused on pork is all year long I've been trying to fill that box up and put as much pork as possible in there. This time I changed my focus back to really what I teach people is only put in great stuff in the box. So it was kind of a mental thing that a switch, but it worked.
When do you decide that you have to make a change? I mean, obviously you told us about the national lead up here on the pork this time around, but I guess for a lot of people that aren't really steeped into the competition side of things, and when you have a pitmaster your stature on this kind of a show, people always want a nugget here or there. When do you decide as an Iowa Smoky D's pitmaster that something isn't right? It's been X amount of time. We don't feel the scores where they need to be, so we're going to start making a change. And how much of a change do you make when you decide it's time to do that?
Still good information. Go listen to what Darren had to say over at the bbqcentralshow.com. Link in today's show notes is going to take you to the complete episode. It's still relevant. It's still going to work. He didn't get where he is without knowing something. So go check that out. And until next time on the best moments of the BBQ Central Show in 10 minutes or less, I'm your host, John Solberg. I look forward to talking to you again soon.